The Russian police put Masha Gessen on a sought-after list after filed a criminal case against them on charges of spreading false information about the Russian army, the last step of a brutal pressure against opposition in Russia, which has been intensified since the invasion of Kremlin, Ukraine on February 24, 2022, more than 21 months ago. The independent Russian news output Mediazona. Gessen's profile on Friday was first person to report Russian Ministry Interior appeared on searched list of Ministry Interior, and that Associated Press was able to confirm this was. Last month, media reported that a criminal case against the open oral critic of Russian President Vladimir Putin Gessen was launched in an interview with leading journalist Yuri Dudud. In an interview published on YouTube September 2022 and watched more than 6.5 million since then. In addition to other things discussed by the Russian armed forces Bucha, the town of Ukraine, two of which are shortly occupied by Russian forces near Kiev. After Ukrainian troops recaptured him, they found the bodies of men, women, children in streets, yards and houses, mass graves. Rus officials strongly rejected that their forces were responsible and prosecuted a series of Russian public figures for talking about Bucha and sentenced to long imprisonment. This prosecution was carried out in accordance with a new law adopted by Moscow, which effectively punishes any public expression against Ukraine about the war that deviates from the official narrative. At end of February 2022, at the beginning of this month, 19,844 people spoke against war or detained to protest. Gessen, who has double Russian and American citizenship and lives in the United States, is unlikely to be arrested unless he travels to a country with a return agreement with Russia. However, a Russian court can still be tried in absenteeism and sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. Addition is also based on the opponents imprisoned in Russia. On day of Alexei Goranov, a former member of a Moscow municipal council, sentenced to 7 years imprisonment for talking against the war, and that his health was significantly worsening in prison and he not given to treatment he needed. Goranov was sentenced to prison last year, and now he serves a penalty colony in the Vladimir region of Moscow. Not 62-year-old Goranov was a chronic pulmonary state and said he took out a few years ago. The opposition leader Alexei Navalny, who was imprisoned, expressed his concerns about his prosperity. Navalny was sentenced to 19 years prison on charges of extremism in the same region with Goranov, and he was not allowed to visit him for the last 3 days. His politician spokesman Kira Yarmish said X, known as Twitter, told